Hello and welcome to this round 9 of Grand Prix Lille. We're going to get a chance, as is often the case on a Sunday morning, to check out some of the players who brought along something maybe a little bit different. And we're kicking things off with is Sandro Bernabe, who is on a Naya ramp deck that we didn't really get a chance to see too much of yesterday, but that we have picked out as being rather sweet. He's got a tough opponent this round in the form of Mattia Rizzi, playing, well, kind of the bogeyman of the format in the early days of things. Golgari mid-range, a deck absolutely full of value as you see Merfolk Branchwalker there exploring, revealing a Vivian Reed. On the other side of things, Treasure Map already in play for Sandro Bernabe, and that's something that is one of the variety of ways that he can end up kind of ahead on the mana race that allows him to do some very cool things in the mid to late game.
Yeah, his deck Naya ramp or Naya Sif ramp, a deck built by Gabriel Nassif, I believe, or at least piloted first on stream by Gabriel Nassif. A deck basically built to beat up on Golgari midrange. Its other matchups not that good, but in this matchup it really shines with cards like March of the Multitudes, Star of Extinction, which is like a sweeper in red that actually kills Carnage Tyrant. And then other big expensive cards like Zakama Primal Calamity. I love that one.
There we see the Star of Extinction. Growth in the Ashes was the card that allowed Sandro Bernabe to get a little bit ahead on the old land count. That's something that it wouldn't surprise me if this is a feature for the entirety of this match, that the player on our left has more lands in play. If it's not the case, then that either means that Mattia Rizzi very flooded or something's gone rather wrong for Bernabe.
Now a Seeker Squire on top for Mattia Rizzi. Something I like to do is when I want my Jade Light Ranger to be a 4-3, even though I'm not liking the card on top, I let it on top the first time, then make it a 4-3, and with the second Explorer I put it in the graveyard. Mattia Rizzi does like his extra land, so he put it in the graveyard at first, and then it's only a 3-2, the Jade Light Ranger.
This treasure map is gradually going to work here. It does not take too long for it to hit the point where it transforms. And of course, doing so does improve Sandro Bernabe's draws just a little bit. In terms of the big action that we're going to see from him, it's once he hits the higher land counts in play that he's really going to be able to get things going, because many of his best threats are not especially cheap. But he's got some nice ones when he gets there. So here we see the new version of Explosive Vegetation, effectively, Circuitous Route. A strict upgrade, I suppose, in as much as in addition to being able to fetch basic lands, it can also fetch up gates. Though, obviously, the number of gates that you want to play in your deck is sometimes a little fiddly, because you don't want to have too many lands that are coming into play tapped if you can help it.
Usually we run 2 gates. There we see it, the Selesnya Guild Gate and the Boros Guild, actually 3. Selesnya Guild Gate, Boros Guild Gate. I believe there's a third one, or maybe he's only running 2. No, only running 2. Because, yeah, you can only search up 2, and the second one will just search up basic lands in that case. Good to note here is that Mattia Rizzi with the Merfolk Branchwalker, he kept Vivian Reed on top, which is going to be too slow to kill the treasure map, because next turn the treasure map will will go up to 3 counters, and then it will flip into a treasure cove. There we see it.
In the process, will also, of course, generate some treasure, make it all the easier to cast the big mana spells.
One of the biggest combos in this deck actually is Azor's Gateway, which we will see in a minute, is an artifact that flips into Sanctum of the Sun. Azor's Gateway, you loot and you draw a card. You discard a card and you draw a card, and as soon as you have 5 different casting costs on there, it flips into a land that produces mana equal to your life total. So if your life total is high, you also gain 5 life by transforming it, and if your life total is high, you will gain a bunch of life, and then March of the Multitudes will produce a bunch of tokens thanks to you having so much mana. There we have Sanctum of the Sun. If Azor's Gateway flips, it flips into this land, and then you have a lot of mana usually, because you should be at a high life total thanks to the 5 life you've gained.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a sun theme deck, because between Sanctum of the Sun and the Immortal Sun, which you can kind of almost see pictured there in the image of Sanctum of the Sun, a whole bunch of the high-end bits and pieces from Ixalan all working together. And The Immortal Sun pretty decent against these Golgari mid-range decks because often they run quite a few Planeswalkers, shutting off Planeswalker abilities entirely, plus all of the extra bonuses that the Immortal Sun gives. Very potent indeed. Here we see a second copy of Grow from the Ashes, this time kicked to fetch a couple of basic lands. And for Sandro Bernabe, Phase 1 very much complete now. He has access to enough mana that he can pretty much do whatever he wants for the rest of the game. He's just going to have to do what every ramp deck is looking for, which is find the big mana spells to be able to cast.
Yeah, and this is a perfect turn for Sandro. He actually gets to sweep the board with Deafening Clarion, and then he's only left with one card, but he does still have the Treasure Cove. He can start sacrificing these treasures to draw extra cards, and then hoping to draw one of the bigger spells in his deck. For example, a Pelakka Worm.
Yeah, Pelakka Worm, it was good back in Rise of the Eldrazi. It has not got a whole lot worse subsequently. Vivian Reed does come down now. No great targets for her minus abilities, so she's going to tick up and try and look for some solid creatures. Ravenous Chupacabra was one of the options there. We'll find out in a second which one it is that Mattia Rizzi actually went for.
One of the reasons why this Naya deck is so good against Golgari is because of Star of Extinction. Star of Extinction not only deals 20 damage to creatures, it also deals 20 damage to Planeswalkers. So a card like Vivian Reed, in other matchup, it will be very threatening, a Planeswalker with high loyalty, but in this matchup, it doesn't put any pressure, and it's probably going to die to either the Immortal Sun or Star of Extinction.
Yeah, the Immortal Sun kind of locking it down rather than actually killing the Planeswalker, but in some respects it pre-answers every single Planeswalker in a lot of decks. Here's the Azor's Great Gateway that we spoke of just mere moments ago. So early doors, this will be functionally kind of looting through Sandro's deck. He's going to be looking to get 5 different converted mana costs underneath it.
And now a Tomatic Compass, another sweet artifact flip card, which we don't see all that often. It's actually, for 3 mana, it is able to search up a land in your deck, and at the beginning of your end step, if you control 7 or more lands, which is the case in here, it will transform into Spires of Oraska, which is basically Maze of It with an add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool.
Yeah, all in all, we're seeing a lot of these transform cards from the Naya ramp deck. And the cool thing about that is that in addition to these cards providing utility on the front half, they're all lands on the back half as well. So sort of the whole goal of getting a lot of lands into play gets easier and easier as Sandro gets further and further through this game. You can see there Sandro fully taking his card out of the sleeve. He's got perfect size sleeves inside his regular sleeves that are kind of dark on the back, which means that the treasure cove that you see up towards the top of your screen, top left of your screen, it's very dark because of that extra sleeve on there. Has de-sleeved the other cards that are in there just so we don't get confused as to which one's which.
Look at that beautiful tower in the middle of a forest.
Some might say a spire.
Yeah.
And there's the treasure cove, of course. Already been used to draw 1 extra card thanks to sacrificing treasure. I can't imagine that Sandro is going to be desperately in need of those treasure for mana at this point, given the abundance of lands that he has in play. As things stand, Mattia Rizzi, he's found the first 10 damage, or well, 9 damage I suppose, very easy to achieve. Whether or not the second half will be as easy as the first is in some doubt, though, given the amount of resources now available to Bernabe. He uses Find to get back a couple of Explore creatures, and I anticipate seeing at least one of them deployed this very turn.
He's actually taking back 2 2-drops because he wants to play them both this turn, because Jade Light Ranger is a little bit more powerful, but he wants to add as much pressure to the board as possible this turn. And I wouldn't be too surprised to actually see a Vivian Reed killing off the Azor's Gateway, because the pressure, the card advantage is not what he's looking for in this particular case. He wants to slow down Sandra and hope he doesn't draw any of his big spells. Also good to notice, if you Jade Light Ranger with the Maze of It in play, it won't deal damage. So if you have a 2-1 or a 4-3 attacking, it won't be that much of a difference.
Yeah, you might as well just have more bodies rather than having one gigantic one.
Yep.
So Treasure Cove again allowing Sandro Bernabe to draw additional cards.
Mattia Ritze is ahead on board, but I don't think he's feeling good about this game. It's just like Sandro has drawn so many cards already, and one big spell should usually be enough. I mean, one March of the Multitudes, there's no main deck answer in Golgari midrange to kill that many tokens. Let's say he plays it now, it's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tokens. That's usually enough against the Golgari midrange. We'll be able to kill off that Vivian Reed and then stall out long enough to draw another one of his big spells.
I mean, these ramp decks can sometimes feel like they've got a little bit more air in them in the late game, as every time you're at this stage in the game that you draw yet another way of getting more lands into play, it essentially doesn't really do anything to change the board state. But here's a card that very much will. That is Zakama Primal Calamity.
Bam.
Only a one-off in the deck, but every time it activates, very potent indeed. Look at all of these abilities. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. When it enters the battlefield, you get to untap all the lands you control, so a huge amount of mana now floating. And Zakama, you can spend 2 and a red to deal 3 to a creature, 2 and a green to destroy artifacts and enchantments. That's not too relevant here. And even 2 and a white to gain 3 life. So right now, Sandro's life total 11, but there's a very real chance that by the time we hit the end of this turn, he will have a little bit more life to work with, or at least by the end of this turn cycle, a bit more life to work with, and that there won't be any creatures on Mattia Ritzi's side of the battlefield.
At least Mattia Ritze will be left with the Vivian Reed, but he will indeed lose all of his creatures. Usually the black-green deck does get to handle the Zakama, but in the process it does lose all of his creatures, which is kind of problematic.
Understatement on a Sunday morning there from Moraine Lebert, as we see a second copy of Spires of Orazca on the transform there from that Thaumatic Compass. Spires of Orazca, not legendary, so that essentially is 2 copies of Maze of Ith that Sandro Bernardi has in hand, but Maze of Ith that also taps for mana. A strict upgrade in that regard. Vivian Reed now just helping Ritzy dig for something. Golgari Find Broker, the card that he goes for, so that effectively kind of like finding 2 creatures. But with Zakama and a lot of mana, I'm not really sure that straightforward creatures that are just filling up the board are going to be good enough for Mattia Ritzy. If you could get a Lurking Chupacabra. Okay, here we go. So, Vraska's Contempt will be enough to deal with Zakama, but not before a parting bite or 2 from the big dino. Kills the remaining creatures and I believe gains a whole bunch of life there. Everyone gets life because of course the Vraska's Contempt also a life gain machine. And here we have a Midnight Reaper coming along for Mattia Ritzy. So he's now got a 3-2 in play. That means that every time a creature of his dies, he will take a point of damage, but he will get to draw a card. Ultimately, a trade that I'm not going to say Mattia Ritzy would make all day long, but he'd probably make it about 21 times without too much bother, assuming that nothing else was going on here.
Yesterday I heard a great story from my friend Thomas van der Paul, where his opponent had out 3 Midnight Reaper and a bunch of other creatures, and then Thomas played Find Finality, killing all of the creatures, and his opponent had to draw 15 cards, losing 15 life in the process.
Sometimes you don't want to draw the cards, but most of the time it's pretty decent. Still more lands coming into play here. We're running out of space in the land section for Sandro Barabe. Not too much in the way of spells, though it looks like he might have Star of Extinction prepped and ready for if Mattia Ritzy decides that he wants to go particularly big.
Yeah, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 basic lands in the deck, and I think he's got them all out. Yeah, so any future Circuitous route won't do all that much. He does have a couple of more non-basic lands in his deck. It's one of the dangers when playing a Ram deck like this, is that sometimes you will draw too many lands. At that point, you just gotta make sure that your big spells have enough impact. We saw Zakama, it was fine, it cleared out the board, but it died too easily. So maybe a card like March of the Multitudes is a little bit better. The Immortal Sun, because it is an artifact, will be a little bit better. Pelaka Worm is great because it will replace itself when it dies.
And you can see here, Mattia Rizzi, his strategy when it comes to his explores, get rid of the small threats. He needs big threats at this point. Golgari Findbroker getting something back. I mean, the Golgari mid-range deck, once it hits these mid and late stages of the game, it has a lot of staying power.
Yep. It's got the nice Golgari Findbroker combo with the land, the black land that actually reanimates a creature. Memorial to Folly, or double Golgari Findbroker can just keep chaining as well. The one being played returning the one that just died. Star of Extinction, of course, going to be very good now, although it will allow Mattia Rizzi to draw 3 cards. But at a certain point in this matchup, you just come to a point where these cards, where these extra cards Mattia Rizzi is drawing, don't matter all that much. As long as he's not putting any pressure, you just get more and more time to draw the March of the Multitudes and end the game right there.
Azor's Gateway activating.
Well played by Sandro. He waited to play that artifact till the Vivian Reed was gone, hoping that this one can stay in play. But I believe Mattia Rizzi has a second copy of Vivian Reed, and that's actually a good way of dealing with this deck. Just destroying all of the artifacts that matter, and then hoping that Sandro Bernabe draws too much air for a couple of turns.
He does need that help.
Let's see what Mattia Rizzi can do right now. He's thinking, he does have a bunch of cards. Look at that. Wild Growth Walker, Jade Light Ranger. But he is looking at the Vivian Reed, hoping to destroy the Azor's Gateway. Yep. There we go. Loyalty 2.
Vivian Reed is just always doing work. Can't rely on the Planeswalker to always draw you cards. Sometimes you just need to deal with threats on the battlefield.
Moraine, do you think anyone will know? Do you think they'll tell it's not Tim anymore? I don't think
they
will.
won't notice.
They'll know nothing.
No.
So put that March of the Multitudes up, because it seems like that's what we're waiting for. Although, is this Pelaka Worm potentially going to be enough? Presumably, because it doesn't have hexproof, that's like green-black goes, oh, you're just a creature, kill it.
Yeah, it's going to die probably to a Cast Down or a Chupacabra. The black-green deck just has too much creature removal that you can't really count on a single creature to win the game. And that's where you really need this March of the Multitudes or the Immortal Sun. But it's only 5 cards in the deck. I mean, it's not like you have cards that draw you 20 other cards. You kind of have to hope that you just draw one of these 5. So far, it has not happened. Treasure Map is going to help, is going to produce a couple of treasures to be sacrificed once again. And there we have the Immortal Sun. This deck has so much flavor going on. There's the Immortal Sun. There's other cards that actually reference to the Immortal Sun, or
like there's a mountain which is like close to the sun because it's quite tall.
Yeah, thanks.
There are plains which are sort of white but sometimes yellow, and the sun is yellow.
There's Akama, which is which reference to the threefold sun.
And Sandro's deck list has been printed out on a yellow piece of paper,
yeah,
which is also a bit like the sun.
Yeah.
And
I enjoy
star of extinction. The sun is a star.
I want Tim back. Someone bring Tim back.
Yeah. Chat wants Tim back too. See what I did there? Tim back too.
Tim back too.
See, well, anyway, moving on.
It's a country in Africa, no?
Good morning, Magic. Oh dear. So back to the serious business. If I just arrived at the stream, and the first thing I see is the center of the battlefield, and I'm looking at a Planeswalker with some loyalty. I'm looking at all kinds of creatures. I've got this Golgari Finebroker that's sort of already returned things. Things look great on the right-hand side. If you just sliced off and looked at the right-hand side, things look great. But it feels, certainly this is what chat was saying, basically for the last 10 minutes, Materizzi has been doing lots of many things that don't matter in any way at all.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Yeah, although at this point he's kind of pulling a little bit ahead and Sandro is still not drawing anything. I wouldn't be too surprised to see once again a -3 on the treasure map, because it is basically draw 3 at this point, the treasure map, if it is able to flip. But the problem is all these creatures with 2 of the lands out, they don't do anything, so he has to overcommit too many creatures to the board, and at that point there's going to be a Deafening Clarion once again sweeping the board. So it's going to be very hard. The Golgari deck just doesn't have the tools to handle the lands, to handle the big spells which he's drawing, which the Naya Ramp is drawing to. I'm a bit surprised that he doesn't -3 here, because the treasure map is going to be more card draw, and he does have Golgari Finebroker anyway to get it back if he wants it.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's so great about the game is that you see little corners of cards that suddenly and weirdly become the main focus. Like Vivian Reed's meant to be a card advantage engine, right? Essentially. But in this game, Vivian Reed is just this permanent, it's almost like one of those enchantments, that a seal that sits there and goes, I'm going to get rid of your artifact. And now I'm bringing it back. Now I'm going to get rid of your artifact again. And now I'm going to get rid of it again. Now here's another Reed. I'm going to get rid of another artifact.
Yeah, now we see the reason why he did not destroy the artifact with Vivian Reed. He actually had his Assassin's Trophy ready, and because Sandro is out of basic lands, he doesn't even get to search up
Ha ha!
one.
Do you think that getting rid of that basic land sort of facet of Assassin's Trophy turns Assassin's Trophy into a borderline playable card now?
Yeah, it's,
Do you think it's
borderline.
it's all right?
I'm not even sure if in Legacy it's going to be good enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Or in Modern, destroying these Tron lands, which everyone loves.
So, if you were Materizzi, would you have stopped playing this game a while ago, or does he
No.
genuinely think he's got this?
Yeah, he's got a chance. I mean, if Sandro draws 2 or 3 more cards that do
Mhm.
nothing, he's actually got a chance.
You see, I heard you say something like that about 5 minutes ago and thought, yeah, good luck with that. But here we are, another step further on. The board's been built out yet further by Ritzy. There is nothing except land on the ramp side of the board.
Yeah, there's no cards like Harmonize, which can really pull him ahead. He really has to hope to draw Star of Extinction next turn. And actually, the Immortal
Now
Sun might be too late.
He's got a Deafening Clarion, hasn't he, in hand?
Yep. But that one does not kill the Carnage Tyrants.
Nope, nope.
More life.
Gotta like it if Materizzi pulls this one out. Good job.
And I think we might be actually at a point where March of the Multitudes might not even be enough.
Oh, no way! Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, around about 14 March of the Multitudes would be.
I would play the second Tyrant here. Nah, he's not.
Now, he does have 3 March of the Multitudes in the deck.
I think that's one.
Is that one?
That was one.
Ah,
Gonna be big.
this is why we do Good Morning Magic. This has been a fantastic start to the day.
You know what's better than one March of the Multitudes?
Is it Multitudes of the
Yep.
March of the Multitudes?
Yep.
Okay. I'm learning from you. It's
Yeah.
good. Ask me between games 1 and 2 about the 1927 Indianapolis 500. That
Repeat.
You don't need to.
Repeat?
Just say to me Indy 500,
Indy 5.
and that'll remind me.
Do you know what Doom Whisperer is saying when he enters the battlefield? Just say no. Just no.
No.
Me neither. He was whispering.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm going to have to explain the chair's idea and the role, and the idea is that you focus on the magic and like for the people in the chat who like really care about the strategic insight, and I do the jokes.
But it's Good Morning Magic.
The important bit of that is that I do the jokes.
Okay, sorry, Rich.
What's going on the battlefield, Moraine?
Yeah, Vivian Reed once again upticks, finds another Carnage Tyrant. That's a lot of carnage right there. He's holding 2, 1 on the board. And he's just building up, just hoping that these creatures will be enough. The other, like the Wild Growth Walker, while it is very big, it just doesn't do much against the land, the Maze of Vidland.
All the dice coming out. I think Matthias had all of the cards in hand basically since the game began. I don't think there's ever been a point where Matthias been down to 4 or 5 cards. And here we go. On the march is Sandro Bernabe.
But Mattia is at 40, and he's got 3 blockers.
Yeah,
I mean, how many tokens do you actually need to
Right.
produce at this point for it to be enough?
Nah, it's fine though, because like you say, the second one, you get to convoke. So let's use them all. And we have a phrase in a play group from a long time ago, which was just called "Look How Long," and "Look How Long" is short for what?
Yeah, it's another one.
Yes,
Yes.
fantastic. See, "Look How Long" is short for "Look how long it took me to kill them." Because if you're going to win, there is no rule that says you have to win with the first March of the Multitudes. Instead, you get to do style points and see whether we can break the token binder, which we probably can. Do you realise I'm almost certainly on the battlefield right now? Multiple times.
Yeah.
Pretty sure on the backside of that. It's the best picture in Magic.
He's actually going to try and kill the Vivian Reed. I'm not even sure that's needed. I mean, next turn he can put all of his soldiers in front of the Carnage Tyrant and then play a second March of the Multitudes. And he's actually missing out on a lot of tokens here. He's losing 3 in the process. I don't think Mattia even cares about his Vivian Reed at this point.
Now, it is possible, just trying to do the math here. 8 there. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 17, 20, 22, so 19. So let's say he makes another 19. Like 4, 5, let's say 6 blockers, 13 get through. Yeah, see, second one might not be enough.
No, we need the third one. And then at that point the binder, the token
And
binder.
then the token binder breaks.
Yep.
I think so. Incidentally, if you're wondering why I'm not interacting with chat, I don't have chat in front of me right now. So if you think I'm not talking to you, you're right. It's because I can't actually see what any of you are saying. I imagine a lot of it is about how good looking I am, but because that's generally what chat is talking about. What?
Another one!
Yes! Here we go!
Multitude! Yes! Look at these beautiful wolves.
Okay.
So I think that's gonna be enough. Despite having 2 Carnage Tyrants out, I'm not sure. Mattia Ricci has been playing this game slowly because of Star of Extinction. Like if he ever deploys too many creatures, he kind of loses on the spot to Star of Extinction.
I take it Mattia doesn't have Mephitic Vapors in his main deck. Or in his, is that what it's called? The -1/-1 to everything?
No.
Sadly, no.
Golden Demise in the sideboard.
He'd have had it if he was playing Singleton on Arena. Good enough for that. Where's Simoon when you need it?
I mean, at the point you're putting... It's actually better to just block with all of them, because you gain 1 more life. Since you're losing anyway, he can only kill 7 with 1 Carnage Tyrant. So at the moment you're putting 7 in front of it, you might as well put the 8 as well.
Only the 7.
Why is he not convoking? Is he really planning on waiting some more? I'm a bit surprised by that. There we see Carnage Tyrant once again back, thanks to Golgari Findbroker. He might be waiting to draw a Star of Extinction first, before firing off that March of the Multitudes.
He's certainly being patient, isn't he?
Yeah.
We can say that. I mean, Mattia's really fighting the good fight here.
Man.
Here we go again. That just the 15?
Only.
I think it is.
Tap the token, tap the token. I think there's Neil sitting next to him and he's like, we can only give you 15.
Have them
Don't
all.
make
Yeah, no, don't convoke it. That'll be it. It'll be over.
Yeah.
Because we thought, who would possibly multitude the multitudes?
Now, it's always dangerous to put only 6 in front of one Carnage Tyrant, because if there should be like a Assassin's Trophy, one dies and then the Carnage Tyrant doesn't die. So I think it's just better to put all of them in front of one, for example. You kill one for sure, and you're gonna gain all of the life. The second one will still survive, but that's just fine because you just gained 15 life. He's got to be careful, Sandro, that he still has a way to win after this.
Because he does have 3 March, right?
Yeah, but he's already played 2, and if too many of his soldiers die, how is he going to win after that? I mean, Mattia Rizzi is playing 3 Carnage Tyrants. He did use all of his Golgari Finebrokers. Yeah, the 1 Banefire, but at 40 life?
Not enough?
Nope.
No.
And the Wild Grove Walker is still in play.
Oh, dear.
I guess his plan is to Star of Extinction, kill everything, and then the turn after March of the Multitudes.
And then go in for 15, 15, 15.
He's got to make sure that he doesn't target the Memorial to Folly, though, because that one will be sacrificed in response, and then the Star of Extinction will fizzle. Some more Carnage.
Indy 500.
Yeah,
Remind me.
Indy 500.
Is Mattia Rizzi, I mean, he, I'm sure, is not looking at the clock in the same way that we are, and we can see every second tick by. Is he sitting there currently planning that he can't win 2-1 here? Is he already playing for there will only be 2 games in this match?
No, I don't think so.
He's invested half an hour in this.
Yeah, but especially the Golgari deck can win very quickly. The Naya Ram, maybe it's got some cyber cards. He's actually got Adanto Vanguard and Carnage Tyrant, so it can actually win fast as well.
Oh, okay, and 4 Carnage Tyrant as well in the board. All right, Mattia Rizzi up to 44. I hope you're enjoying Good Morning Magic here with what started out as Tim Willoughby and is now Rich Hagan, alongside what started out as Moraine Libert and is now Moraine Libert. So welcome along. Happy Sunday morning to you all. As Rizzi sends the team.
We're going to see another March, I guess. First he's going to use the lands, untapping the 2 biggest creatures.
Yeah.
Can he survive without playing the March of the Multitudes?
16.
Chump, chump, chump. Yeah, he can survive.
And takes all of the Carnage damage. Takes 14 there, gains 3, goes up to 17. And then 19 takes 14, goes to 5.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Let's call it 5 and see what happens. Look at that.
Wow.
Bang. Biggity, 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 bang.
Is Frank Carson in your pocket?
Pocket Frank? That's a great idea. Frankie Numbers in the pocket.
Yeah.
We decided that when we couldn't afford Frankie Numbers, I'd go along as Richie Stats.
I found out what his plan is.
Okay.
He's going to now March of the Multitudes. Hopefully he will
With
convoke.
Convoke.
There
we go.
He's going to convoke and then turn after play the Immortal Sun. He actually drew it. That was his plan all the way. Just making... He knew that 1/1s wouldn't be enough with Mattia Rizzi at 44. So he's going to make them 2/2s and then attack. And if he draws...
Oh. That looks like an upside down token.
Uh-oh.
That doesn't look like they're all the right way up. Oh, it's me. There I am. Look. Get out. Get that one out of the way.
Yeah.
Come on. Shift it out of the way so we can get the really important cards on the battlefield. But yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. My life is now complete.
So that was why we put Sandro on coverage.
That's right, because he's playing me.
Yeah. A lot of you.
A lot of me. There is a lot of me, as you're well aware. Revel in riches. That's what we can all do.
Look at that. How many are there actually?
Right now, I'm glad I'm not looking at chat because I'd just be blushing, I'm sure.
There's a lot.
Let's call it a lot.
Yeah.
The technical magic term.
I think this is game.
Well, I'm going to...
12.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me, Mattia.
14, 15, 16, something like that. 16 riches.
Oh, can you imagine that? Most people are fed up with one.
Yeah. 17 and 2 dying. So 17, 34. Mattia Rizzi down to 10. There he was, thinking he was safe at 44.
Yeah.
Nope.
Table just suffered an earthquake.
This is the problem with Golgari midrange. It's kind of linear in it that it kills creatures very efficiently.
Mhm.
It plays very efficient threats. It plays a card advantage game, but some cards it just cannot handle. It has a hard time handling lands. It has a hard time handling artifacts, and it has a hard time handling cards in hand. Because March of the Multitudes is a great card if you get to wait for so many turns.
Or is he piling back in? What is he doing?
He doesn't have a way, I believe. Golden Demise out of the cyber. Oh, look at that. He does have a way. Finality.
What a game of Magic, boys and girls. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Good morning, Magic indeed.
And now Sandro has to draw his Banefire as quick as possible to finish.
Which is enough now.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many cards he got left in his library? He's ramped his way out of all the basics. Oh, so good.
More Carnage.
Do you think we should apologise for not putting the Golgari mid-range 8-0 mirror on camera to start the day? I don't think we should.
You saw what he drew. 1 turn too late. Trostani Discordant. Would have been 3/3 riches. Yep.
Okay, Sandro.
You missed out on
This
that
is
one.
like, oh yeah. 37 minutes of, well, carnage.
There we have it. Trostani Discordant, a 1/4. A great card. Gonna produce 2 more soldier tokens with lifelink. So they are 3/3 at this point. So pretty big. Ravenous Chupacabra is going to get rid of the Pelaka Worm and probably also the Trostani.
You know Trostani isn't on Facebook, don't you? Or Twitter, or Snapchat, or Instagram.
I'm not sure.
Is on Discord, though.
I'm sorry, chat.
Don't apologise. They do this to themselves voluntarily.
How is Sandro really needs that Banefire?
Yeah.
He could
I'm
also
sorry, Mattia. I actually do really want Sandro Bernabe to find the Banefire and just win with
He
it.
could also draw the Immortals Star of Extinction to just sweep the board once again. 20 damage
He's
should be
got
enough.
one left.
Yeah, 1 or 2. I think
Oh, maybe
2.
two. We've
Yeah.
only seen one, haven't we? Yeah.
And if all of the Carnage Tyrants are gone, that should probably seal it, because there's also still double Maze of it. Finally, he's holding Growth from the Ashes, which doesn't do anything anymore, because there's no more basics. He's holding the second the Immortal Sun, which also doesn't do anything.
There we go. Let's see the life loss happening off the Midnight Reaper. Oh, I love that card so much. It's right. No, there it is! Banefire you! It's time to go home. Pack up your cards. Oh, are you not entertained? Is that not one of the best games of Magic you've ever seen? Oh, boys and girls and everyone in between, my word. That was outstanding Magic. Moraine Leiber, what have we just seen? Walk us through play-by-play the last 39 minutes, Moraine.
So Mattia Rizzi went up to 44 life,
Okay.
then took 34 from a lot of riches,
Yeah.
and then died to beautiful Banefire. That's
Oh, such unbelievably abject nonsense.
And what about the indie something?
Right, okay, so the Indianapolis... not strategic insight, boys and girls, you'll be surprised to learn. The Indianapolis 500 is a motor race.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In 1927, there was a what we might call an extinction level event, to time with Star of Extinction, when basically the Indianapolis 500 just goes round and round in an oval. It's at a place called the Brickyard, just outside Indianapolis, and it's like 200 laps of a 2.5 mile circle, essentially. And in 1927, because they've been running this thing forever, you know this because the winner gets a pint of milk. That's absolutely true. That's one of the prizes you get. You get to drink milk at the end of the race. Anyway, there was this extinction level event when a huge crowd of flying insects descended on the racecourse and basically ate their way through most of the competitors' wheels, causing a gigantic, enormous crash. And basically 2/3 of the field were just involved in this horrible crash. And of course, you know what the insects were, don't you? They were the carnage tire ants. So hopefully that's got us between game 1 and game 2. Between Sandro Bernabé and Mattia Rizzi. I promise you, you will not see a game like the first one because there isn't time. I can confirm that our backup matches, air quotes, tables 2 and 3, they were done, the whole matches, long before game 1 got finished here. Crazy stuff.
1927.
Yeah, right now, Google is wondering, why are so many people typing in Indianapolis 500 1927?
Yeah. Extinction level event.
Extinction level event, yeah.
So, and the thing was the Brickyard.
Yeah, see, I didn't. By the way, just so you know, because obviously I could have said herbal, burble, purple, and you'd have just nodded repeatedly, because this was not in your wheelhouse, so to speak. Just so you know, it is over 500 miles. It is in Indianapolis. It has been going for a gajillion years. They do give milk to the winner. All of that's true. I know, that's the one you're thinking.
Oh, the answer isn't true?
No.
Oh.
The answer was a joke. The answer was a joke about a magic card called Carnage Tyrant. You see, I implied that they were tire ants. You see, and that's like tire ants tyrant. It's like a play on words.
Oh.
It's an English language thing, Maureen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not that good at
No,
English.
just
Okay, yeah, it's very...
get on your horse and drink your milk.
Let's take a look at the cybers from
shall we?
Mattia Rizzi. He's probably bringing in Golden Demise, I guess. Other cards he's looking at for Jures are going to be wonderful. But apart from that, I don't see that much. But Jures is huge, because we know that the Sandro Denaya Ram deck does count on his big spells, and most of his big spells are not creatures. Immortal Sun and Star of Extinction. So Jures is going to be wonderful. And then again, Sandro, what does he have in the cyber? He might actually be bringing in 4 Carnage Tire Ants.
Couple of so options are Tuadanto Vanguard, where I mean obviously could be very defensive, but he's not going to want to pay the life. He's got extra Bane Fires. They're no good against Carnage Tyrant. 4 Carnage Tyrant. That does seem super good, doesn't it? Because basically it matches up well against Mattia Rizzi's Carnage Tyrants, and he gets there first, theoretically.
Yep.
So it sounds odd to say Carnage Tyrant's defensive, but that's kind of where we are.
Yep. He also has Settled the Wreckage.
Okay,
and
one copy. Yeah.
And another copy of Star of Extinction, which seems to be like one of the best cards to have against Golgari midrange. It's a weird little card we haven't seen much play. But now it's gaining a lot of popularity because it's so good against Golgari midrange.
People were talking about it in chat yesterday, and like as the day went on, it sort of started out a little bit in air quotes. It's like, what you need, Star of Extinction. That deals with Carnage Tyrant, and a little nudge and a wink in the sort of same way as I was talking about Mephitic Vapors. You know, it's like, well, all you need to kill one once, just to like -1/-1 to everything. It's simple. But as the day went on, more and more people were saying, yeah, you know, Star of Extinction's what's actually the thing here, and yeah.
Yep. A lot of the blue-red decks that are doing good have some of them. I know Peter Viren is high on the card. He's playing 2 copies. With Goblin Electromancer, it's only 6 mana.
For the low price of 6 mana. All right, so with a bit of luck, they've burnt 4 minutes of the 9 that were left. And Sandro is going to 4.
He's got Cleansing Nova in the main. Oh, he's got 2 copies of Cleansing Nova in the main, which I actually like. It also deals with enchantments if needed, but the main effect is obviously the sweeper, getting rid of Carnage Tyrants. And he did not have a single land.
You can't keep that, can you?
You just have to go down to 4. I mean, Mattia Rizza can easily win in 5 minutes. It's going to be hard for for Sandro to actually win this game. 4 cards is not a lot, and most of his spells require him to have 10 lands.
Okay, so off we go. Yeah, I mean, I guess the first part is get to grow from the ashes and then start top decking.
I'm surprised that Mattia goes with the turn 2 duress here, but he does get to take a look at a nice double March of Multitudes Star of Extinction hand with 1 planes up. Oh, look at that. 3 March of Multitudes. If he ever gets there.
Behave.
Okay.
Don't give them false hope. It's not happening.
No. A big Jade Light Ranger. Already 4-3. Exactly what Mattia wants.
So the only person who can win this match now is Mattia Rizzi.
Yep. Well,
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
if it goes to game 3, it's going to be hard for Sandro.
What do you mean if it goes to game 3?
It is going to game 3.
Yeah, there we go.
Sure.
He got to 3 land. Well, that's something.
Mattia could find just for the Chupacabra, but I don't think that's enough.
To be
So 4 lands.
4, yeah.
We need 7.
Okay, that's that.
No, it's not going to happen. There's a Carnage Tyrant coming in here. I think Sandro could have actually played March.
Bang.
Does he have double green? No, couldn't. Or does he need? Is it double white? Let me look it up.
There's
That's
March. Yeah.
Double white, 1 green. So, yeah, he can actually play 1 for 2 next turn, 3 if he draws a land. Ooh, look at that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He can't possibly come back.
Uh-oh.
Surtmer at Cert Hurt spells smash. Settle.
Exile. He's going to search up 3 lands. Still going to be... He's still favored, I think.
Have we got this the wrong way around? Is Mattia Rizzi the ramp deck? Apparently he is, because Sandro's just starved of mana.
Does he still have more gas? He already used 2. Find Finality. 1 good strategy against the Golgari midrange is actually to exile as many cards as possible, because there's a lot of reanimation in form of Find Finality and Golgari Find Broker. He does have more gas. Look at that.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Wild Growth Walker. Probably leaving that one on top so that the Seeker Squire is also a 2-3. When chaining Explore cards, it is always good to have a non-land on top, because that makes all of your creatures bigger. Does he find a land for Cleansing Nova? He's still not out of it. Temple Garden go down to 2.
What?
And then March of Multitudes. He can actually win this game. Mulligan down to 4. Does he have the Cleansing Nova? I don't think... Oh, no, he doesn't. It was the Settle the Records last turn.
Mm-hmm.
So he can produce 1, 2 tokens. If he goes down to 2, takes 5, goes up to 4. No, I think he's dead. If he puts it into play tapped, he makes 1 token. He goes up to 5 and take... No, that's not going to do it.
No. So Mattia, who has played very fast through both the games, not just when he was 1-0 down, but piled through game 1, now is hesitating over his attack. I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah. Just, does he want to play around the second?
I was going to say,
records?
is it just about, can I attack with less than everything?
Yeah, and then if he March of Multitudes, puts 1 token in front, it goes up to 5. So it might actually be correct to keep 1 creature back. He's gonna Jade Light Ranger first to get an extra 2 tokens on the Wild Growth Walker. And putting creatures in the graveyard is actually fine because he's got already Find Finality. Another nice interaction with the deck is that you can explore creatures into your graveyard and get them back with Find Finality. Let's see, he attacks with these 3. March of Multitudes creates one lifelinking 1/1. Goes up to 5, but he still takes 5. I think this attack is great. Yeah, well done by Mattia. No reason to expose the Chupacabra.
So our unofficial timekeeping brings us to 0. So let's see whether that is indeed the case. There we go. There's game 2. Mattia Rizzi wins it, and we're all squared up. I presume that they're going to call it a day there because there's just no way anything can be done. So let's just confirm that they reach for the slip. Yes, there's the pen in hand for Rizzi. There he is, signing the result slip. It's 1-1. One of those games wasn't up to much.
The problem with the draw is that it kind of puts both of them out of contention for top 8.
Right, 6-2 and 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
because we
very
have
small chance.
1,400 players. Yeah, it's probably going to be 13 and 2.
Especially if you already pick up 2 losses and a draw from here.
Yep.
Your resistance is not going to be that good. So it's not what you're hoping to come into the day. Like, you're still hoping I'm X2, but maybe I can make a run. And then now both of them are out of it. Well, happens.
It certainly does. All right, so Rich Moraine here. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, it'll be more Good Morning Magic from the continuing story of round number 9. See you in a mo. Hello. It's the best in the business, apparently. All right. I lost him. Now I've got rid of Moraine. I've no idea what's going on. It's all falling apart. Look, even the players have left. No, they're over there. Anyway, welcome back. It's Time Walk time, and we're going to go to game number 2 of a match between two people. And it turns out to be Armanath Danpat against Carl Wall. Jeskai Midrange against Jund Goblins. And right now, Jeskai Midrange is 1-0 up. So you never know. Moraine may pop back in if he feels like doing the rest of the round. Who knows? Certainly not me, your host, Rich Hagan. Anyway, welcome along. It's lovely to have you here. With a bit of luck, I may finally get to the point where I can actually look at chat while we interact and everything. Think that's possible. Oh, empty chair, my fave, says Bop Zapper. Meanwhile, Jund Goblins with Carl Wall is going to try and put some pressure on Jeskai Midrange. Not quite sure what's in Jeskai Midrange. I wonder if I've got some deck lists here. That looks like a deck list. Alright. Armanath Danpat. Some Vanguards, Adanto Vanguards. Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice. Knight of Grace, Lyra Dawnbringer. Powerful. Rekindling Phoenix, also powerful. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. A couple of Teferis, Hero Dominaria. Of all 4, History of Benalia, for lots of night action. Justice Strike, some Lava Coils, couple of Syncopates. That's the gist there. Okay, that seems fairly mid-range. And here is the History of Benalia, so the first night comes out. While not going so fast. Oh, the MTJ. MTJ sure has slimmed down a bit since last appearance. Well, okay. So the thing is, Luciferase, more 6 and 2 magic. What we do is we just bring on decks that look interesting, like this Jund Goblins deck that's going to get eaten alive by lots of knights. All right, so Armanath looks in terrific shape here early on. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you know the magic card Roast. This is what's about to happen live on stream to my fellow commentator, Moraine Libert, who enjoyed the first half of the round so much, he just decided to leave.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Moraine, how are you?
Sorry, boss.
No one knew at all. The level of strategic insight into the Time Warp match has been exactly the same as if you were here. What's going on, Moraine? Do tell the viewers.
2 Direfleet Daredevil attacking. They do have Menace. So it seems like Armanath is down to 14 with his white weenie. No, actually, Jeskai weenie. So, well, I'm guessing this is Jeskai control after Cyborg with just a couple of knights to add. And there's Jund Goblins. That's something I haven't seen all that much. That looks like a sweet deck. Is it maybe Goblin Chain Whirler with statues?
Yes.
State statue?
I believe it is. Yeah, 4 status statue.
Yeah. So that's actually a nice combo which we haven't seen all that much in standard. In that Goblin Chain Whirler comes into play, shoots every creature for 1, but if you give it Death Touch, it basically just kills every creature, including Carnage Tyrant.
Excuse me. There's nothing to sneeze at this game.
And Direfleet Daredevil is a sweet little card, which we haven't seen all that much in standard. It saw some play in modern. It's a 2/1 menace, which is basically acts as a Snapcaster Mage, but for your opponent's graveyard. Did it actually get to flashback something in this game? I don't see anything exiled, but it is going to become a 3/2 +1/+1.
Just to bring you up to speed, before you arrived, we talked about Armanath's deck and why it was mid-range, and basically implied that the Direfleet Daredevils were badly matched up against History of Benalia. I think that was basically all you missed. Zutphanar, it was a draw between Golgari and Naya Ramp. But
It doesn't have menace. It's got first strike. So that's why the 2/2, the 4 actually was a 4 power knight didn't kill the Diefried, because +1/+1 and death touch, the way first strike and death touch work is that the creature just dies before it takes the opposing creature just dies before it gets to deal any damage. It seems to be the round of Carnage Tyrants.
well, it is quite a good card. Let's be fair.
Yeah. It's like in the beginning, these Golgari decks in the format in Standard weren't running Carnage Tyrant, but then they figured out we need to have a way to break the mirror, to break the control matchup, and then they all started running Carnage Tyrant, and now it's like the way to go for these decks. And even other decks like Junt Goblins is running dinosaurs.
Yep. It's weird to think that dinosaurs are new, not old.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a bit of a flavor fail, really.
They're new in the metagame. This deck can actually ramp out to turn 4 Carnage Tyrant. Turn 2 Wily Goblin, turn 3 Wily Goblin, turn 4 Carnage Tyrant. Not gonna happen all that often because it doesn't seem like he's got all that many green sources. He's got 3 Overgrown Tomb, 4 Rootbound Crag, and some Timber Gorge. That's about it. It's very optimistic too. Does he have Forest in the sideboard?
Hello. Lyra Dawnbringer. That's not good news for Carwall. I can tell you that the last match of the round is done in real life, which means that we'll probably finish off this game. Won't have time for a game 3 if there is one, which doesn't look very likely at the moment, you'd have to say.
The Eldest Reborn is another interesting card, which I don't think is all that good in the metagame right now, because the green-black decks usually have a creature they can throw away. The white decks also have History of Benalia, so they don't mind losing half of that.
Right.
Bringing back a Planeswalker is obviously great, but even like I had games where I was playing green-black with a couple of the Eldest Reborn, and then by the time I was going to be able to reanimate something, they just took it back with Golgari Finebroker the turn before, so it wasn't doing all that much. In the beginning of the format, it seemed like it was a little bit better.
Yes, I can hear pairings going up for the next round. Tell you that winners in round 9 include Rob Catton going to 9-0, Florian Trott to 9-0, Alexandra Dara of Belgium, one of your friends, Moraine, up to 9-0, Peter Viren, also of Belgium, up to 9-0, Francesco Giorgio from Axion Now, the British team, he's up to 9-0, and Carlos Morale is 9-0 as well, defeating Alexander Mertin. So they are your last 6 players with a perfect record as we head into round 10. We're going to try and find some more fun decks. I think we'll be hard pushed to improve on this round, Moraine.
Yep, this is one of the better games we've seen so far in this tournament. This is a little bit of an awkward one. The 2/1 first strike attacking into the Lyra, but it seems like he's not interested in blocking. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's afraid of another statues. And now that the 2 little creatures are gone, he is going to go for the Eldest Reborn, but that doesn't work very well against the Phoenix, because that it will just come back. It will become a 0/1, and then at the end of turn it will become the Phoenix once again. That's another reason why the Eldest Reborn just isn't all that good in this metagame. Oh, look at that, Aurelia. That's actually an angel, so works very well with the Lyra. 6 mana, so
The
it's going to be
Exemplar of
Banefire
Justice.
for 6.
Yeah, Banefire you out, and thank you very much.
This has been the Banefire against Carnage Tyrant round.
It has, and do you know what won each time?
Banefire.
Banefire, that's right, it did. So welcome back, Empty Chair. Put in a brief cameo appearance while Moraine, just decided not to be here. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to murder you once we're off camera. Anyway, thank you so much for being here for Good Morning Magic. It really has been a good morning of Magic. Tim's fine, had to step away for a little bit. He'll be back later on with fewer jokes and more insight, which is kind of how we dovetail things. So thanks for being here. And coming right up, the dulcet tones of Simon Gertzen. And we've even let you have Riley Knight as well. We'll see you in just a few minutes.